Hey guys, Westcott Taco here, and welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today, guys, I am getting my hands on a TRD Pro, the brand new 4th Gen Tacoma TRD Pro. First one that's hit the lot over here, to my knowledge, in Southern California. Really excited to get my hands on it, dive into what I think, how I like it, what my thoughts are, and most importantly, the pricing. Let's do this. Well, guys, finally, after almost 2 months or so of waiting for the official hybrid version of the Tacoma to drop, here it is, the TRD Pro 4th generation Tacoma. What a trip to actually see this in person. Westcott Designs did the sliders, the roof rack, and they actually put the lift, the collar lift on this as well. $66,000 is the MSRP. However, with the accessories and everything they've added on, they're asking $83,000 for this truck. I'm also going to dive in, so stay tuned. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to sit down with the financing manager and get a better understanding of what this truck would really cost you if you did a full 72-month, loan term, plus how it would look if you structured it with a lease and a couple other options. So that's going to be really interesting because the final price tag of what you're going to pay after taxes, interest rate, everything is substantial, and it's pretty disturbing. However, I wanted to just kind of take a little bit of time to walk around this truck and give you guys a close-up view of how this truck looks now that it's officially on the lot. We no longer are looking at a prototype. This is the finished truck. This is the finished TRD Pro. What a trip. What a trip to actually be looking at this as we've been waiting for so long for the 4th gens to come out, and now we're finally seeing a TRD Pro. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't even want to say I'm disappointed. I'm not going to say I'm excited. It's kind of surreal seeing the 4th Gen TRD Pro now actually on the dealership lot and seeing what they did with it. The price tag is what makes it, I think, so unattainable and so unreachable for the the average person looking to buy a TRD Pro Tacoma. A couple of years ago, you could buy one for in the $50,000 range. And inflation's gone up, prices have gone up. But, dealerships are going to demand a hefty markup for these trucks. And I talked with the sales manager, and he said he'd be willing, to try to give me a good deal and work something out, which, I'm not saying they wouldn't, but I don't think we would even get close to the MSRP. And I think, there isn't a real reason for them to have to come down very much because people are going to be willing to pay these prices, at least for now, while there's only a few of them getting sprinkled around on the lots. So I'm going to take it for a test drive. We're going to go over the interior a little bit, and then I'm going to post the final numbers on what it would look like. They have a little spreadsheet based off of credit score. So I gave them a credit score of 750. I wanted a few options down of what it would look like if somebody put 3,000, 6,000, and 20,000. I would highly recommend, when possible, always buy a vehicle cash, because the interest you're paying over the period of a 72-month loan is insane. It's probably going to make you fall out of your seat. But a lot of people just don't have the cash. And I think if you are looking at this truck from a standpoint of not being able to have a substantial down payment, and I mean more than 20 grand, I mean like at least half, and you can make this make sense for you, I don't think this is a wise purchase for a lot of people. I think that you're getting in over your head here. I think you're getting a little over your ski tips, and I think that you could really, soon regret purchasing something for the amount of money Toyota is asking for some of these Tacomas right now. Really cool to see all these products, but I have a lot of reservations about, the interior, the quality, the powertrain's the biggest reservation I have. How are things going to hold up mechanically? Toyota's had a lot of recalls lately with their Tundra, and that Tundra's been out, for a little bit now, and they're still having to do a major recall on the engines. And so a lot of things Toyota is working through when it comes to their powertrain platforms. But I wanted to take a look at this and just give you guys an honest opinion from a 3rd gen owner, someone who's going to hold their 3rd gen, for the rest of my life. And give you some honest feedback. I'm not here to sell this to anybody. I'm not here to discourage anybody either. I'm just trying to give you hard, cold facts on what this is looking like when it comes to purchasing it right now here in Southern California. And I know taxes vary from state to state, but this will give you guys hopefully a really good idea of what you're looking at when you see the pricing sheet and just give you a general idea of what to expect when going to a dealership. I would recommend negotiating very hard to get as low as you can, obviously. But like I said, right now, with the minimal amount of these that are actually hitting the lots, they're going to be demanding a premium. Give it a year or two, give it some time, and I think pricing will come down closer to that MSRP pricing, and maybe a little bit off. It just depends on how hard customers push back. But let's get into the test drive and go over some of my thoughts, and once again, the final pricing of what you'd be looking at if you were to buy this truck today. All right, guys, first time in the brand new TRD Pro. This is my first time driving the new Tacoma, period, but I wanted to save it until the Pro came out. What a trip. From the sound of the exhaust, the way it idles, the way it starts. It doesn't really have like a crank, it just kind of starts. And let's see how this handles. Okay, so I'll say this right off the bat. The torque is phenomenal. I'm still not sold on the price tag. I'm still not sold on a lot of things, but it feels really good right off the line. I have a lot of reservations about the powertrain, the turbo, the hybrid platform, just everything in general. But when Toyota was going for, low-end torque at the bottom, they delivered it on this. There's no two ways about that. It's got a digital display on the windshield. What a trip. Ride's a little stiff, but they did put the Westcott lift on it. They have the Toyo tires, so it's a little stiff and a little bumpy, but the throttle response is on point. What I'll be doing after this is getting an actual quote to see what it would cost, because I think that's the big question is, okay, here's the dealer markup with all the things they added to the truck, and I want to understand like what a monthly payment would look like for someone looking to put little down, what it would look like if you put half down, just so we have an idea of what we're working with here with interest rates and whatnot. So that'll be part of this video. But guys, this glove box is not as wiggly as the other one, and I'm assuming it's because of the material they used on it. The seating position feels good. I know that was a huge complaint on the third gens. I got my seating position pretty well figured out. Obviously mine's an adjustable. What's kind of strange about this seat is that you can't adjust the angle of it. It's like, I'll show you the control settings. You have lumbar control settings, and you have, up and down, or back and forth, I should say, the sliding, but you can't control the tilt. Like, that button is like solid. It doesn't move. It doesn't have any wiggle room. So I'm assuming with these, I forget what they actually call them, but they're like the shock absorber seats. I'm assuming that maybe is why you can't, because of the type of seats these are on the Pro. This is a really big infotainment screen. This is the first TRD Pro they've gotten at this dealership, and I'm stoked that I get to be maybe one of the first ones to drive it. I believe it just got to the lot the other day. The reason I actually found out about this is because I saw Westcott Designs put out a video about a black TRD Pro they were putting some sliders on, and the front license plate said Toyota Temecula Valley, and so they just put that out yesterday on YouTube. So I figured that this truck had to be either on its way to the dealership or was already there, and when I pulled in this morning, it was sitting there waiting to be driven. What H frick? But $83,000 plus tax, registration. I mean, we got to be really close to 100 grand. And then if you had interest on top of a full term of payments, whew, that's brutal. So there's the engine. It kind of turns off a little bit. But the acceleration is on point. Let's see, let's get past this light. The acceleration, the response, everything is solid. I'm not going to drive this for too much longer because it makes me nervous. Makes me nervous being in this thing a little bit, to be quite honest. I'm driving around a $90,000 truck. A little rich for my blood. But I'm curious to see what it would cost to purchase this truck and what it would look like in the real world. The materials, being quite honest, they feel pretty similar to the third gen. I'm not feeling like a change in quality or material. You know, plastic. This is the Pro, so it looks like, you know, they've used some higher quality materials for like the door panels and you know, like the glove box, carbon fiber on the dash. In all honesty, guys, it feels pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it feels good. I always give honest reviews, but I just have so much reservations about this turbocharged platform plus the hybrid. I mean, I just feel like they're gonna be really expensive to maintain and there's a lot of failure points. That's just me. But the truck feels good. It does, I'm not gonna lie. The torque, the down low torque that you get, the response from the throttle, I mean, it feels really similar to my truck, which is tuned. You know, it's tuned, and now I have the 529 gears in it, which I'll be doing a video about here soon as the Overland Taylor team makes some modifications to my tune to maximize, or I should say optimize, the performance of the new gears with my engine. But it does sound a little funky when you kind of come to a stop. It's kind of like the engine partially turns off. I'm not sure if that's like something engaging or disengaging, but it feels like something kind of like temporary shuts off. It's not a full engine shutdown, but something's definitely turning on and off. I'm not a super, you know, big guru on hybrid turbocharged platforms, but there's definitely something that turns off at a stop. But outside of being a little stiff, which I think, you know, it's just the way the tires and the suspension are, the throttle response and everything is really nice. But that price tag, though, and the powertrain platform are some huge reservations for me. But let's talk with the salesman. Let's see what this would look like. That way I can give you guys an idea of what prices are looking like here in Southern California as the TRD Pro models are starting to finally hit the lot. And if you guys are really chomping at the bits to get one of these, this is Toyota of Temecula Valley. And this really nice looking black one is sitting here. And it's gonna maybe be here for a little bit depending on how willing someone is to pay that price tag, because I don't see them having any reason or purpose to give a serious discount. But let's see what it looks like when these numbers go on paper. Okay, guys, just for the sake of simplicity, I gave Toyota a 750 credit score and said, okay, how could we get payments down to $1,000? And the only way they could really do that was through a lease option. Look at these numbers. A 72-month purchase, you're looking at around $1,300 a month if you do 20 grand down. And on a lease with 20 grand down, about $1,017. Look at the numbers. Selling price, accessories, taxes, guys. $112,000 is what you're going to be paying if you put 20 grand down on a 72-month loan with an 8.99% interest rate. Insane. I mean, guys, I understand inflation's up. I understand it's the TRD Pro. But I just can't. I just could not justify spending $112,000 over a 72-month period on a truck that was less than half of that about not even a year ago. I understand it's the new platform and they've put a bunch of new technology and they have a lot of new things in it that weren't in the third gen. But to see a mid-sized truck and to see how much you're actually paying for this truck, if you were to finance it, which I think a lot of people will do, I think there are very few people that will come in and pay all cash. I am 100% on board with all cash purchases. I think that's the best and wisest decision. There's no two ways about it. But I don't think the average person coming in to buy a Toyota truck is looking to pay all cash. I think a lot of people come in and are looking to finance a decent amount of it, which is why I ended up giving you guys those numbers instead of doing half. Because I'm like, I don't think there's a lot of people walking into a Toyota dealership that have, 40 or 50 grand to put down on a vehicle. Some do, but I don't think the majority do. And I think a lot of people are looking to put down 3 to 4 or 5, 6, 7, maybe up to $20,000 down. And once again, I gave them a 750 credit score. But I don't even know if that's where a lot of credit scores are these days for most people. I'm assuming people are probably somewhere in the high 5s or low 6s. I don't know. But what I am saying is that I gave them pretty competitive, numbers, I think, for where the economy's at. And it's insane to think that people would have to spend almost $1,500 a month or at a low $1,000 a month on a lease. The lease made the most sense at the end of the day because of the way the buyout works. So I would recommend leasing with an option to purchase at the end than doing a purchase up front, just because you're going to save a lot of money on interest. Unless you're looking to pay this thing off really quick or all cash, then obviously, then do a purchase. But wow, if you paid the numbers Toyota is demanding, I didn't dive into how much they could take off, but I'm assuming it wouldn't be a ton. They were trying to find a way to get that down payment as low as possible to 20 grand while keeping the monthly payment at $1,000. And the lease option was the best one. And so something to really look at, guys, and really ask yourself, like, is this the norm? Is this the norm for the TRD Pro lineup? Because you can buy a top of the line Tundra for less than that. But is that the new norm for the TRD Pro Tacoma? Is 100 grand if you finance going to be the new number for a while until you can either pay all cash or refinance? Pretty wild, pretty crazy to think about. But guys, until the next one, I'll be talking to you soon. I apologize if my review of the TRD Pro wasn't top notch. It was my first time in the truck, trying to learn how things work and what controls are where. So I'm still learning. But I wanted to at least get eyes on it, hands on it, and give my honest opinion of it. And more importantly, give you guys a realistic cost of what these things are going for, or at least what the dealerships are asking for here in Southern California. All right, guys, until the next one, be talking to you soon. See ya.